Here's my audience. Lily Tomlin once said, "I always used to wonder why somebody didn't do something about that, and then I realized I am somebody." My name is Audrey Watkins. I'm a senior at Liberty University, and I'm a psychology major. I plan to pursue a master's degree in professional counseling. I've also suffered from major depression and anxiety for the majority of my life, and have seen up close and personal the effects of mental illness when it goes untreated. Mental illness is a problem and needs to be treated as such by getting education and awareness for both families and the public, and by receiving funding from both state and federal legislation to get research and mental services. Today I want to talk to you about what mental illness is, the problems that mental illness causes, what mental illness can do to society as a whole when it goes untreated, and how we can help. Mental illness is a biological brain disorder. It is not something that we can wish away, it is not a flaw in character, and it is not a lack of willpower. It is a medical condition that has an unnecessary stigma attached to it. Mental disorders are the #1 cause of disability in the United States, and the National Alliance for Mental Illness has stated that they believe that major depression will be the #1 cause of disability by the year 2020 for both women and children. More than 34,000 people commit suicide each year. That is more than the fatalities from car accidents and nearly twice as many as from homicides. Society as a whole has to pay for mental illness when it goes untreated in the form of disability, homeless shelters, incarceration, drug and alcohol abuse programs, just to name a few. Funding has been cut over the last few years for state mental health programs, and we are bearing the brunt of it in emergency rooms, community hospitals that are unprepared to deal with such crisis, as well as law enforcement that is unnecessarily burdened by this. There have been proper treatment will help people to deal with mental illness on a daily basis. When mental illness goes untreated, people deteriorate and they lose the valuable life that God has intended for them. With proper treatment, they can live the fulfilled life that God has intended for them. What can we do to help? Well, we can insist on funding to the National Institute of Mental Health. We need to demand that our legislators fund the National Institute of Mental Health. They are the only federal agency that is funded to do biomedical research. They need funding for discovering causes of mental disorders and for finding out what exactly is going on in the brain that causes it. They need to develop lab tests that can help diagnose and to aid in treatment. They need to continue gene research that would pinpoint the exact gene that is causing mental illness, as well as improve current medications for antipsychotic disorders. Today there are too many side effects, and people are going off their medications because of this, and we need to invent new medications that are improved. We also need to continue research for a cure. It is not anywhere in the near future, but this is a must. We also need education for the public and families of people with mental illness. We can also get involved with organizations such as the National Alliance for Mental Illness, and we need to push our legislation to enforce stricter gun control laws and come up and promote public awareness and education of mental illness. The effects of mental illness are devastating, and we as a nation must demand that our legislators come up with funding to help research and education. We need to act in a preventative manner instead of always reacting to the problem. People are losing years of their lives because of this illness, and some are even dying. Jesus said that we are to help those in need, and as Christians, it is our duty to get involved in this problem. We can do so by educating ourselves on mental illness and by informing our legislators of their duty to the people. And in closing, I want to just quote Margaret Mead when she said, "Never doubt that a small group of committed people can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." Thank you.